Welcome back. Today we got Bubba Jenkins on the phone. Georgi Karakhanyan's his opponent, coming up here for Bellator, January 16th in Pechanga. I interviewed Georgi before I interviewed you. So Georgi told me that you guys had trained together before. You were helping him get ready for the Lance Palmer fight, correct?
Yeah. It wasn't so much that he was like, "Hey man, I'm fighting Lance Palmer. Can you absolutely help me against Lance Palmer?" Because Lance Palmer is a good friend of mine, and we
Right.
go back a long ways. But he just kind of randomly showed up into the gym that I was training at, and he was, we began to talk. And Paul Herrera was, the owner of the gym that I was at, and also my coach at the time, still my coach today. But he was saying, "Hey man, this guy's got to get ready for a fight. He's got, a tough wrestler." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And as we began to train, I didn't really, I'm not the type of guy that, really jump in anyone else's business. Cause so it was like,
Right.
we just started training. And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm fighting Lance Palmer after, after the whole workout went down." So I'm like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Palmer very well. We wrestled often in college, being that he was an Ohio State guy and I was a Penn State guy. So, I mean, in my conference, at the big tournaments, everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
we wrestled twice a year for the most part, every year. So it was a very common ground for us to know Lance Palmer and to know that he was training for him and I was training for whatever fight I had. So we only trained for about a good 4 maybe 5 weeks, something like that.
And what did you take away from the training? Like, what did you find anything that surprised you about him, or anything that kind of made you, like, I don't want to say uneasy, but something like that he does? Because guys come into the gym and you train with him for a short period of time, you're like, oh, I know this guy from wherever. I've seen him on TV fight, and you start training with him. You're like, wow, he's surprisingly bad at wrestling, or he's surprisingly good at wrestling. Like something
Right.
weird like that. Is there anything about that about George that you noticed when you guys were working out together?
Man, he's got some really good kicks, bro. I remember, I remember he had me walking crazy for about 4 or 5 days because I mean he just kicked the hell out of my left leg. So that was something that I remember. That's something that I won't forget, and that's something that I definitely been preparing to stop because I mean he knew it and I knew it that he just could kick me at will, and that was one thing that I noticed right off the bat. And he's surprisingly strong. I mean he looks strong, he feels strong. But after taking him down after a couple of times, he did a good job of getting back to his feet with his strength and the wrestling techniques that he had. So yeah, man, he was strong and he kicked very hard.
Well, that was forever ago. So now we're talking about two different fighters. Like, it's not, you guys aren't even the same fighters anymore. You developed as an athlete. He's developed as an athlete even more along. So how much from that training session, for that 4 weeks of training with him, are you actually taking into this training camp of, okay, this is the mindset he has? Because, people develop and people change a little bit. He's changed. You've changed. So how much are you really pulling out of that training sessions?
Absolutely. If he's thinking that he's going to fight the same person that he trained against, he's completely preparing for the wrong fight. That would be a very ill-willed thought on his process. But same on my boat. I know how fast I've developed. I know how fast I've come and how quickly I learned. So I can only think that other people are doing the same thing in their development and with their good coaches and things like that. So I'm gonna just take away the fact that I know he's automatically strong.
Yep.
That doesn't, you don't get weaker really if you're, especially if you're working out and training. Not like I know he has been.
Right.
And I'm just going to take away the fact that he loves to kick. That type of habit doesn't leave. Like I love to take people down and beat people up. As much as I want to stand up and knock people out, those habits just won't leave for whatever reason. I've been
Yeah.
the game plan to knock them out, and I go in there and shoot the hell out of people with double A stuff. So those habits just don't leave.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be, because that's what got you to the show. Some guys are
Right.
strikers, and that's how they get to the show. And some guys are wrestlers, and that's how they get to the show. And some guys are jiu-jitsu guys. And why anybody tries to change who they are by, oh, no, but this great striker, so I'm going to go ahead and knock everybody out. It's like, no, dude, it's not what you started with. And I did it too. Like, I became, oh, I think I'm just a striker for a while. And I was like, no, I'm a wrestler. Like, I got to keep taking guys down. It's just how it works. But
Just throw it into, once you get like new toys and new tricks, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm a fast guy, I'm a striker, I'm a this. When you're like, you know what, if things hit the fan, excuse my French, if shit hits the fan, I'm taking people down. Period. No question about it. They know it, I know it, we know it, the odd makers know it.
yeah.
It's just what's gonna happen.
So you're typical. You wrestle Penn State. Every Thanksgiving, every Christmas is always blown. You're in the middle of season. There's no chance to really sit down and grub out like everybody else does. There's no real chance to spend a week-long Thanksgiving with your friends and family, getting drunk every night and eating whatever the hell you want to. You've always got to be disciplined. we're disciplined again now because this fight is at January 16th, which takes you right through Thanksgiving, right through Christmas, and right through New Year's. So it's normal pace for you from what you've been doing. But how do you celebrate Christmas and New Year's when you were wrestling, and has it changed a little bit now that you're fighting, even though you're still in training camp? It's the same mindset, the same eating habits, but has it really changed at all from college?
Well, it has changed for me because, when I was celebrating those things in college, or trying to celebrate or just have a little fun with those dates and times, it was mostly about me. But now that I got my son, this Christmas, this holidays and things like that, they're all about him. So it really is just me mustering up the energy and the time and effort to, build the Christmas tree with the lights and, put the ornaments up and things like that. For after a workout or after I'm tired, it really isn't about the dieting and stuff like that, because like you said, I'm used to that. I mean, I knew for whatever reason, since I hadn't fought since September, I knew my next fight was going to be around the best holidays of the year. So I mean, you kind of expect these things, and it. And I mean, I've had tournaments day before Thanksgiving. Whatever ass set that up, that's just who he was, what he did, and how he didn't care about anybody else. That happens. That will continue to happen during my career. Some people want to be entertained for those holidays, and I happen to be the person to entertain them for things like that. So, I didn't change anything in my mindset, just really making it special for my son, because it's his first one. He's almost 8 months old, and it's a big deal it was a big deal for me when I was coming up, before I even knew what wrestling was. Man, I don't know why I got into wrestling, but before I knew what wrestling was, my mom and my parents and, just all my whole family, made those holidays really, really special. So that's basically what I'm doing. I started my own tradition with my own family, recently married. So the night of Thanksgiving, we put the tree up, and as we lead up to it, 12 days before Christmas, we're going to start doing, other things that I implemented in my Jenkins family tradition. So it's all about him, really. But to me, it's just focusing, knowing what I'm doing it for, and grinding.
What traditions that you got from your parents that you're still using with your family now?
I think we're going to do some. We did when I was coming up, we did like trick gifts on the 24th, the day before Christmas. Everyone got like a gift, like a con gift. Maybe you got a big old box, and you open it up, and it's like this little peanut of a toy or something. You know what I mean? So like those are a couple of traditions that I think we're gonna probably try to implement in my family. Just to keep a little bit of the old family traditions and the new family traditions. So I think we're gonna do stuff like that. One year, my stepdad got me a cookbook for peanut butter. He put it in a shoebox. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm shaking the shoebox up, and I'm like, okay, let me figure out what's in it. And I open it up, and it's like a weight loss cookbook for peanut butter. Like, because at that time I was only eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, things like that to cut weight. And so he was like, here's 72 different recipes that you can use with peanut butter that you can use to lose weight. And my family thought it was hilarious. I was pissed off. So that was things that we implemented it.
I like your stepdad. I like him. I like him.
Yeah,
that shit's funny. That's funny.
I didn't read one page of that book, man. I'll tell you what.
How many people are coming over to your house for Christmas? Are you just gonna do Christmas morning with your wife and son, and then move on to somebody else's house?
We're gonna do Christmas morning with my wife and son, and we're gonna go ruin everyone else's Christmas. We're gonna go.
I gotta be honest with you. That's one of the smartest things to do. Is like you do family stuff first thing in the morning, and then you go to somebody else's house and have them do all the cooking and prepping and the cleanup afterwards. We just go over there and let our kids go nuts and ruin stuff and break stuff, and we just go home. And we go.
Yep.
That's the best way.
All the gifts and all the paper and all that. The only reason why we're doing that this Christmas is because on Thanksgiving, my wife broke her back in the kitchen and, put out all kinds of things. And because it was my first Thanksgiving as the head of my household and the head of the Thanksgiving table, I was like, I ain't going nowhere for Thanksgiving. I'm going to be here at my house. If anybody wants to come over, they're more than welcome, but I'm going to be at the front of my table finally with my son on my left and my wife on my right, and all the food I want in front of me, going nowhere. And we didn't have like the normal tradition, like we did have the traditional turkey and all that stuff, but I implemented minute garlic shrimp that was grilled, so that's usually not on the list. And I make sure that at my Thanksgiving there would be garlic shrimp. If anything I got to do with there's going to be some seafood involved. So this Christmas, hopefully, we maybe get a little crab legs or something like that involved. I mean, I always got to have my seafood. So.
What's something I just noticed is that you basically just explain to people at home that don't really know the difference between white Thanksgiving and black Thanksgiving. being biracial, I had Thanksgiving in different households. It was sometimes white, sometimes it was black. In the black household, the owner of the house is at the head of the table. It doesn't make a difference who comes over, who's around. He cuts the turkey. He's the man of the house. That's the way it works. And when you have black parents or a black parent, you always have Thanksgiving at that black parent's house. And so you're always at the kids' table. I'm like 22 years old, kids' table. Like, how am I still at the kids' table? Because it's my house. You're still the kid in the house. Like, okay, that's what it is. So when I finally got my own spot, I was head of the household, and I didn't want to leave either. And I forgot about that. We're like, this is going to sound bad at home. This interview now is going to get me in trouble. I'm going to have a lot of people going to start banning me. But when I go to white Christmases, it'll be like, oh, my son's back from this, or he just got back from Penn State, for example. He just got back from college, so he'll let him sit at the head of the table. And like,
I don't give a damn if you came back from war. You better find a good seat, but the head of the table is my house. It's my table.
I'll put you right here, my left, and maybe my right, but this is my seat. Like, you got to move out the way. So, and it's funny. It's funny too because I've been in households where like kids, have gone to the head of the table, like, hey, where should I sit? And like they're standing at the head of the table, grabbing the chair out, like someone's gonna say for them to sit there. And I've gone to other people's houses, like black households, and everyone's at the other end of the table going, everyone's fighting for the last 4 seats. Like, do we want us to sit here? Where do we sit? We sit over here? Because it's usually a hierarchy. It's almost like a hierarchy of where everybody sits. Where did you put your son for Thanksgiving?
That's tradition. That's part of their culture. The man of the house is the one who's protecting everybody. He probably is the one that is going to definitely cook the turkey. He's probably the one that makes sure that the house didn't get burnt down. Make sure that everyone parked in the right place. Make sure that the football game is on at the right time. It's recorded. Nobody turned that TV on until I say so. It's like it's that type of tradition, especially at a lot. And I've been to a lot of Thanksgivings where because I was at school or I wasn't able to go home and things like that. So I've been to a mixed variety of Thanksgivings, and that one thing holds true. At a black house, the man of the house is sitting at the front. You know it. Everybody knows it. Don't even grab that chair. It's probably the only chair with handles on it. Got a pillow in it and everything. So you already know where that is.
Yeah, that's funny. I totally forgot about that. One of the traditions we did, and I did it earlier. Like maybe 10, 15 years ago, and I brought it back this year, where instead of having Thanksgiving dinner at like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I have Thanksgiving dinner at dinner time. I have it at 6 o'clock at night. So we had Thanksgiving dinner this year at 6 o'clock, and it worked out better because we got to watch all the football games while snacking on hors d'oeuvres and drinking and screwing around and doing whatever, and that way people didn't feel like they had to get up at 8 o'clock and rush to get over to the house, because we have a lot of friends in Vegas. A lot of people don't they don't have anybody, so they come over to my place, and we had like 20 people over. And everyone was like so thankful. Thank you so much for having it at 6 o'clock. It's just so much better. I didn't have to sprint. I didn't have to like hurry up and run up. And the one thing I did differently, that usually I make everyone get dressed up for Thanksgiving. This year I made everyone get casual, be comfortable. Come over here, like be comfortable in my home. So wherever you be, if you're at home, in your own home, being comfortable. How did everybody dress for Thanksgiving, and how will everybody dress for Christmas?
It was well, I think everyone's going to get dressed up for Christmas. We're probably going to put on the goofy sweaters and stuff like that. Probably in the morning, we're definitely going to do the onesie family outfit. Me and my wife have been looking for onesies for about 6 months now, so we're definitely going to do the onesie outfits because my son's got all kinds of sick onesies. I'm like, man, you don't got that in my size, son? Like, I'm trying to rock that kind of onesie. But we're probably going to do the morning Christmas onesies and keep it cool. And then once we start heading off to everybody else's house, I got to be suited and booted, fresh to death, to the head, to the toe. So I'm definitely going to be putting on my best threads, and so is my son. And obviously, my wife is the best dresser in the house, so that goes without saying. Yeah. But for Thanksgiving, because we had just such a motley crew of people, we had about 6 or 7 people, and one of my friends from New Jersey actually wrestled with me at Penn State. He came through, and a couple of my training partners. We even had an Indian for Thanksgiving, so people were like, oh, wow, how did that go? It was great. He joked around with, let's celebrate the day you guys took everything from us and all that kind of stuff. it was pretty funny to have him over, but I mean, it was awesome, and everyone kind of dressed very casual. You know, we had people, and in my house we pray. You know, we pray over every meal, we pray over things like that, and because you know it was just so many different people. A lot of people were like, when we started circling up around the table and starting to grab hands, people were like, I'm not. Hey, boy, just grab my hand and bow your head. Like, you don't even really got to pray. Just bow your head and think of a moment of thanks.
Yeah,
so,
it's not.
cool.
It's funny how people don't have that tradition in their homes. Go to somebody else's house and they have that tradition. They're like, "Why are you touching me? Like, what are we doing? What's happening? Like, come on, man. It's just a prayer. Relax."
We got to touch each other. Yeah, it's just I mean, it's part of your environment. It's part of your culture. It's part of who you are and what makes you. And I don't hide behind any of those things. The things that I grew up knowing and loving are the things that made me who I am.
Right. Yeah, I apologize. This we're supposed to be talking about Georgi and the fight and getting ready for Bellator, and it went off into holiday traditions. And I hope the folks at home can just deal with it because that's just what happens sometimes. So, Bubba, thanks, man. I appreciate it. That's a great tree behind you. Tell your wife. Thank you very much for making sure that tree got put up together right and doing all the work on that tree because I know you didn't do nothing but pull it out of the garage. I know how you are.
Right. The designing, I spritzed it with the fake snow, but for the most part, that was all wifey. I mean, the design, all that stuff. I had to make sure that the tree was up. And I got my fake snow, and that's about it. Everybody else, y'all do what y'all got to do.
Yeah, I get with my Christmas tree, I got told a lot of directions. Everyone's like, "Did you put the tree up?" Well, I put it up. Did you put the ornaments? I put the ornaments on it, but I got told where to put them. I didn't have. There's no thought process. Mine was just there. It is. There it is. There it is. Okay, I'm done.
You know how the wifey is. Do what you want. I'm gonna just here, up here. Oh, okay, that's good.
A happy wife is a happy household.
Learned that early, man. Learned that before she became my wife. I knew that happy to my wife, my right hand man, my right hand girl, my love. Better my life is, the better my sleep at night, the better I wake up, the better the food is.
Hey, last question before I let you out of here. I know I told you only 10 minutes. We're already running over, but what's the one thing you do after training camp for your wife? I mean, we're all selfish. We all have that's why we fight. That's what we do. We do what we do because we're selfish. And that's why we're good at it because we have that mindset. I know you do something for yourself after every fight, whatever it is. Some people take themselves on vacation, buy a new toy for themselves, like whatever it is. You can look at some of these fighters, they're buying boats and motorcycles for themselves. But people forget, they have significant others as well. What do you do for your wife after the fight's over just to say, thanks for putting up with my assholeness for the last 8 weeks? Like, here, baby.
My spazzing. Man, as of lately, because, we're just now starting to get into where the money can take care of us after the fight. We haven't really had a tradition of like, okay, let's go on a vacation and things like that. But now that, I'm fighting in the bigger fights with the bigger names and stuff like that, I'm going to give her all reins to, hey, since I had to buckle down for the last 2 months, 3 months, what is it that you want to do? A lot of times she just wants peace and quiet, a little back massage, a swept floor. My wife's very, very simple. She loves it clean. She loves things like that. She loves a clean house, a quiet house, a fed baby, a sleeping baby, things like that. So, those things when I'm not cutting weight are, something that I definitely focus on. But after this fight, I'm obviously going to be like, what do you want to do? And a lot of times she wants to go back home. A lot of times she spends a lot of time taking care of me. And when we fly and travel, we're traveling to my side of the family or we're traveling to my side of things. This time, we're actually going to head back to Oregon. Okay. After I beat Georgi, we're going to head back to Oregon and see her family and let everybody meet the baby and stuff like that. So it's going to be awesome. I love doing things for my wife. Just yesterday, she was like, you know what? I appreciate that, you actually go the extra mile for things like that. Because in my family, we didn't really do those things. Her birthday is on the 29th. So it's right after Christmas. It's right before New Year's. So everything kind of got blended and lost in the shuffle. And for me, I got her like 2 times the gifts that I would get anyone else for Christmas in those times because I know that a lot of people, don't give her 2 times the gifts. My birthday is in February, so I get Christmas. You get a month to rebound. The first month of the check comes, and then you better get my birthday. So I got where it's perfect time for me to get another gift. A lot of people have already rebounded, and they're going to give me my second gift. But as for her, the gifts kind of blend. Here's a card for your birthday. And here's your gift for Christmas. But me, I double it up because she does so much for me, So
do you guys still go on dates? Do you still have date night?
Jenkins, my wife. the lovely woman she is.
Do you guys still go on dates? You guys still have date night?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We definitely still have date night. We the $1 bills that we save after, like, say you spend, you know, $15, $16 and you got $3 left over, it goes into our date night fund, and all the change, it goes into our date night fund. And
Good.
we recycle all our plastics. So whenever we turn in our recycled plastics, whatever $15, $16 come from that, at the end of the month or once a month or something like that, we see how many funds we have of our date night special. And sometimes we'll just go buy a beer and buy some movies and come home and, you know, have the sun somewhere else type of thing. But then sometimes we'll go out to a nice dinner, and it depends on how much is in the date fund.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a good way to do it, though. It's, you know, date nights are important in any relationship. I don't care if you guys have been dating for 6 months or been dating for 6 years and you're not even married yet. If you want to keep that relationship going, you got to go on. You have to schedule date nights. You have to, because we get so busy with everything else going on and interacting, we forget that, hey, we haven't left the house in a month except to go to work. You know, and that's it. Like, all we do, and we go to work at different places, and we come home, we're still on the couch. Like, we got to get date night. We got to go out.
To go to the fight or one other fight, and we always have our son with us. So whenever we can go out and it just be us two, which we get. I mean, I'm feeling like we're getting old, man. I mean, 9 o'clock comes, I'm just like, oh, so you wanna go back home now? Like, I'm done.
I will tell you this. When you retire,
right,
you'll be fine. Because when I retired, I was like, the first couple months, I was like, shit, 10 o'clock, man, I'm going to bed. Now, like, some nights I'm out to 4 in the morning, you know, I'm out to 3 in the morning, because I don't have to be up and fresh and ready to rock at 9 a.m. to go get punched in the head.
To go out. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go hang out. Like, you know, sometimes, like, hanging out with Couture, hang out with Randy sometimes. Like, Randy be like, let's just go have dinner or whatever. We'll have dinner, and all of a sudden, like, his girlfriend Mindy and my girlfriend Jill and I will all kind of be out, and all of a sudden he's just, hey, let's just have dinner, and next thing you know, we'll go, let's go to this other bar and have a drink. Let's go to this other place and have a drink. Okay, let's go over here. Hey, let's go do. All of a sudden, it's like 4 in the morning. We're like, what happened? Like, what? Oh, no, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And then we get up at noon. You know, you, unfortunately, right now, with a little baby in the house, you've got to be up and coherent. You can't come home hammered and expect you'll be able to handle your son. You got to be able to coherent. And then when he's hungry, he's hungry. It doesn't make a difference. You had 45 minutes of sleep or 4 days. You got
when he's hungry. Yeah, definitely on that mode. Definitely in the grind mode of, like, hey, 9 o'clock comes. You know, you got about another 15 minutes before you need to go to sleep. We need to go to sleep, and he's up at 8, so we got to be up with them. So it's just the life and the part of the time that I'm at right now. But I
change.
did the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock party times, and now I'm at the 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. All right, this is way too late. And then, like you said, after I retire, I'm pretty sure that we'll start going back up to 3 or 4 times, because me and my wife definitely want to get out and have a good time with ourselves, with each other, spend that quality time with each other.
And by then, your son will be in high school, so he'll be able to take care of himself. It'll be perfect.
Him sneaking in the house and all that. Hey, boy, what you doing now?
Beautiful. All right, thanks, Bob. Thanks for coming out here, man. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of the day. We'll enjoy Christmas. I'm sure we'll talk to you before then, and then I will. Hopefully, I'll see you in Pechanga on the 16th for your fight. I'm trying to get down there. As long as my schedule allows, I want to be over there watching. I love going to any live fight. I don't care what the promotion is, but I love watching guys I respect and know, especially the old wrestlers. I love going to watch them live. It's a different venue for me when I get to watch wrestlers. Go live. Your ear is way better looking than mine.
I kept them pretty. You know, I mean,
this thing is a mess.
They got that gob on the side of their head. You got one of those gobs on the side of your head.
This thing is folded over and chewed up. It's not even cauliflower anymore. It's broccoli. This thing is a mess.
Right. So I definitely kept mine pretty along the ways. But appreciate you for having me again, man. OGK and W, one of the sponsors. You see me all decked out. Other than that, man, make sure y'all tune in January 16th. It's going to be on Spike TV. It's going to be in Temecula at Pechanga. And I appreciate it again, Trigg. God bless, man, for sure. We'll see you guys, and happy holidays.
You got it, buddy. Talk to you soon. Take care. Kiss that baby for me.
I will, for sure.